Matthew Morrison began his career on Broadway, and he's back there right now. He was, of course, well known for playing a major part in the hit television series Glee. He came to Vancouver in 2011, and we had an interview with him, mostly about his debut album, which came out then. In your history, you started out at 19 or 20, and you were on Broadway,
Yeah.
Is that right? Singing or acting in a dramatic role?
It was Footloose, the musical. So it was singing, acting, dancing, kind of the whole gambit. And it was always my dream as a child to be on Broadway, and I was very fortunate that it happened at such a young age.
But it was a singing role there and a dancing role? I guess the dancing was.
I was actually in the ensemble. I was just one of the background people and kind of did all the stuff and sang in the chorus and stuff. And I did a couple shows like that, and then my first big starring role was in Hairspray, the musical. You were also nominated for a Tony. I watch the Tonys every year, and the best show going, I think. Yeah. Well, the viewership doesn't prove that, but you're one of the few viewers. No, I was nominated for a Tony in 2005 for the show called The Light in the Piazza.
And that's a dramatic role, is it not?
It was.
Yeah.
It was the hardest role I've ever done in my life. It was. I had to speak the first half of the show in Italian, and the second half of the show in broken English, and I had to completely relearn how to sing in opera. I had to train myself operatically.
You know, you're too young to know this, but years ago, and I wish I had a copy of it here, Sammy Davis Jr., who was one of the greatest performers
One of my
time.
favorite of all time.
Yeah. Look for something on the iTunes. It's called Because of You. The old song Because of You. There's a song in my heart. He opens it up by saying, actors have always wanted to be singers, and singers have always wanted to be actors. Mm-hmm. I think that's true, is it not?
I totally agree. Yeah, and I'm fortunate, and he was too, that we got to kind of do it all. And I was a dancer before I was a singer and actor, so I got to throw that in the mix as well. I love my career because I've done the Broadway and the television and now the music, and I definitely want to get into film. And I think the first film role I do, I want to do something that's completely weird and that people wouldn't expect. Out
of character. They have to look twice to see it's you.
Exactly. Well, so the problem is I think most people know me now as Mr. Schuster, this kind of happy-go-lucky teacher. So I want to try to break that mold a little bit.
When you do a Broadway show, does monotony set in? I mean, let's say it's a success and you're singing every night. Does it get to you or what?
I'm not going to lie. It does. My favorite part of any Broadway process is the rehearsal process. I love finding the character and kind of making mistakes and going too far and then kind of reeling it back in. But I did Hairspray for 2 years, and I learned a lot from that. And I was like, I'll never do a show that long again because it takes the joy out of it, and it does become like a job. I mean, it's a great job. I love being in front of an audience, but I kind of set my limit at a year. I did not know this about you. You're a songwriter. I didn't know that about me until recently as well. I coming from a show like Glee, I thought it was really important to write my own songs because otherwise it would have just been another Glee CD. Just a lot of covers and stuff. So I thought to be taken seriously as an artist, it was important that I write a lot of my own songs. One thing for this album that I wanted to make sure was that the voice kind of was very present and not kind of dulled down and hidden in the music at all. I really wanted it to make it about the voice. And how did you end up with Elton John and Gwyneth Paltrow doing duets with you? They felt really bad for me, and they just wanted to help out a poor guy like me.
An itinerant singer.
Yeah. Just trying to make it, guys. No, I think with the success of Glee, it's really opened a lot of doors for me. A big one being the fact that I could make the album how I wanted to make it, and there was no really pressure from the record label of we want it this way or that way. They really just gave me kind of free reign, and it was wonderful. But I over the past few years doing Glee, I've just made great relationships with a lot of great people, and Elton John and Sting are one of them, and then Gwyneth Paltrow was obviously on Glee for a few episodes, so I became great friends with her. And if I could have dreamed of my first album of doing duets with people, I don't think I could have dreamed that big to have those kind of people on it. Every time I hear a version or a cover of Over the Rainbow, they do the song, but no one really does the prelude to it, you know? And that was my favorite part, and I thought a part that was so beautiful that was never really done. So that was the most important part for me, is to put the prelude in there.
That's something in music you never hear anymore, the preludes.
Yeah.
If you listen to the original, I Left My Heart in San Francisco with Tony Bennett, he starts out with The Loveliness of Paris. You know, that's a prelude, but people, you don't hear it anymore. It's a lost art.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wish you the best for this, Matthew. It's just a great entree into the charts for you, I think.
Thank you, Red. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, and have a good show tonight.
All right, thank you.
All right, buddy.